As of right now, Tyla is one of the biggest rising stars in music, but there are some people who feel that things just don't add up. Not to mention that these days, she's found herself stuck in a controversy that fans and critics feel might destroy her before she ever really gets the chance to be more than a one-hit wonder. But before we get into that, let's discuss one of the main talking points around her name at the moment, which is Tyla's abnormally fast rise in the music industry, which led her to being tagged with the infamous Industry Plant label, before then getting into why people think she's a complete fraud for everything even outside of music. Released in July of 2023, Tyla brought the sound of Amapiano to the masses with her smash hit single titled Water. Originally teased on TikTok, the song took off immediately with its dance challenge.
It's amazing, like the fact that I have a song that is now attached to a challenge that everybody's doing it, babies are doing it, old people are doing it. Like, it just shows how far this song has traveled and how it's impacted people, you know, and it's literally a sound from Africa.
It wasn't long before the track took off, and according to her, she was blown away by what happened. In an interview with Revolt, Tyla spoke about how she did not expect the song to do well initially, and that the success she's endured from the track was life-changing. With what seemed like a matter of moments, she was everywhere, and the track reached the top 10 of the Billboard charts, which is crazy considering that she literally became the first solo South African musician who would appear on the charts since the jazz legend Hugh Masekela's Grazing in the Grass, which debuted nearly 5 decades ago. Next thing you know, Tyla was the talk of the town. She was appearing on popular shows, teaching people how to do her viral dance.
So first, your hand goes up, and the whole time you just...
I can't even do that. Hold on, is something moving? Okay.
Yes, so your hand goes up, then you sweat, then you jump.
Jump?
Yes, and then you ga.
Uh-oh, ga. What? And then you ga.
She was rated #1 on Rolling Stone's list of Afro-pop songs for the year. Her social media graphs were looking like this, and she even got to make an appearance at the famous Met Gala, looking like an absolute snack. Suddenly, we got to see Tyla being pictured next to A-list celebrities, getting a major record deal signing with Epic Records, and overall, enjoying the type of success that some artists would only dream of, even after putting in years of work. However, people wanted answers on how someone can rise to the top of the game so quickly. Was it really just a result of talent and skill matched with a surreal work ethic, or was there something else going on behind the scenes that the masses was unaware of? Well, fans started to notice that something was fishy when she somehow managed to get her track Water remixed with Travis Scott in March of 2024. And to be honest, it was really the first misstep she made. Suddenly, people were giving her the side eye, wondering what this was for other than to try and maximize exposure. Why is Travis Scott on this damn Water remix? Who approved this? But on the real, Tyla's management is insane. A Travis Scott feature? By February of 2024, the crowning of Tyla as a pop star in the making was complete with her Grammy win for Best African Song.
Oh my, what the heck? What? Oh my gosh, guys, this is crazy. Like, I never thought I'd say I won a Grammy at 22 years old.
Almost tying Beyonce for BET Award nominations, despite the fact that her debut album didn't even break the top 20 in the US. People were seriously asking questions, and soon, the Industry Plant allegations were really coming after her. So much so that she was forced to address it in various interviews.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about you?
That I literally came out of nowhere and I'm an industry plant. It's like, what the heck? I'm a whole plant. Imagine. People don't know how hard I've worked and how hard my team has worked to get here. But I mean, everyone's gonna get that comes up from a social media viral moment, so it's understandable, but one day we'll tell the story for real.
Now, later in the video, we're gonna be talking about some more sus stuff about her interviews. But honestly, it doesn't take that much research to see that Tyla was actually speaking facts in this clip. For most people, it probably looks like Tyla exploded from out of nowhere. However, there's a lot more to the youngest South African to ever win a Grammy, as the only thing she's ever wanted to be was a star. She was always there shining and making sure she was one of our best singers, said her ex-choir master, Mrs. Naka. She's always wanted to do what she is doing. She is designed for the stage. And rather than this just being some random thing that someone close to her said, it was also backed by her own mom, who claimed that her showing off her vocals was something that brightened up the darkest moments in her life. Every time I felt sad, I thought I would hear Tyla sing, she explained. Her other siblings would try to make me feel better by rapping, but I don't know. Like many kids, Tyla started out just uploading videos to YouTube. In fact, videos of her performing Justin Bieber tunes as a child are still up on her official channel to this very day.
Well, let me tell you a story about a girl and a boy. He fell in love with his best friend, which is around, he feels nothing but joy.
Initially set to head off to college to study mining engineering, Tyla felt that it wasn't the path she was destined for. So her parents presented her with a choice. They gave her a year to break into the industry, and if she didn't succeed, she had to go back to school.
Like, when did you start making music? Who was you looking up to?
I've always loved music and knew I was going to become a singer. Like, since I was small, I was that child that was making shows for everyone, performing in primary school, high school, everywhere I could. Like, I always told my parents that I was gonna get into music, and they never really took me serious. But like my last year of school, I was like, okay guys, I'm done now. So I got them to let me take a gap year.
Inspired by her idol Rihanna, who showed her that someone outside of America can, quote, dominate the industry, Tyla was working tirelessly and tried to overcome what she described as the battles she faced, such as a lot of convincing and a lot of crying.
But yeah, before then, like, I was grinding. Oh! The struggle was real. Like, I was making videos, posting on Instagram, TikTok, Musically at the time, and DMing every celebrity that anyone that had a blue tick, I was DMing.
But soon, one track would change the entire trajectory of her life, and that song was called Getting Late. Released alongside Cool Drink, this 2021 track really put her on the radar of everyone in her native South Africa. A sleeper hit in a lot of ways, the release of the video that was filmed during COVID really let the whole world know about the track. The song was so good, some people didn't even believe it was her singing on it. According to Tyla, the whole thing was promoted all dependent, no money from other people, and when they dropped it, they just saw the numbers fly, which led to it quote-unquote changing her life. But that song would be hugely consequential in that it led to Epic Records coming to her door. In 2021, she let the world know what was going down, stating, "Guys, I can finally announce that your South African girl has a major global record deal. When I sang the words to Getting Late for the first time, I never imagined it would be the song that made my dreams come true. I am so proud to finally reveal that I am now signed to Sony Epic Records USA." Using words like finally when she had literally released just one song, Tyla's first song on Epic, Overdue, would be featured on the soundtrack of the Netflix African original series titled Blood and Water. Soon, she was working with people like Major Lazer as well, and overall, it seemed like the odds were really stacked in her favor. And soon as she would release her big hit Water from 2023, it changed everything, bringing her both success and a whole lot of hate all in one. In one case, she did something to a famous streamer that made everyone churn against her for the dumbest reason. In an instant, the release of that hit song was such a big deal that suddenly, her rejecting Kai Cenat during their live stream would be covered by Fox News.
So I can't do Zoe, so my only option is Tyla. Would you like to go on a date with me?
Are you asking for real?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Would you like-
do that.
I'm serious. Whenever you get some free time, would you like to go on a date with me?
But we're friends though.
You right.
Yeah, we're friends.
Believe it or not, this was a huge deal, and Kai is still getting clowned for this single moment to this very day by people like Kevin Hart.
Would you like to go on a date with me?
Are you asking for real?
Pause it.
Yeah.
Pause it. I almost punched you in the face.
I know.
I
saw it, bruh.
almost punched you in the face. What did you just... What
So-
made you do that?
Bro, I was in the moment, Kevin.
What moment? But we're friends, though.
Okay, don't start saying that. Okay, no, because I've been an all-going joke, bro. Do not say that line, bro.
But we're friends, though.
I had this made right here. We gotta hang this up. We friends though. Hey, let's find a wall. Dude, find a wall. I got one more picture. You got that for? Okay.
While this was all fun and games for the most part, Tyla encountered some more serious drama real soon. Cause while the Kai Cenat situation was on par for the course when someone becomes a big star out of nowhere, this was only one part of the problem. Because to make things worse for Tyla, she was blurring lines in a way that American audiences just aren't familiar with. If you're familiar with Tyla, you'll know that she has a very mixed heritage that includes everything from Indian to Irish. Because of her upbringing in South Africa, which used to be very segregated up until the 90s, how Tyla sees race is fundamentally different from how it's used in America. In fact, this was something that she covered in a TikTok in 2020, which predated her fame. Now, I can't play the clip because it has copyrighted music on it, but in the video, she described herself as a quote-unquote colored South African. And this term was never offensive in South Africa. Instead, it was just a way to describe her multi-ethnic identity. But straight away, this ruffled a lot of feathers with American audiences who immediately saw this as a potential roadblock for her. To preface this, I would like to note that when it comes to music or hip-hop, it's common for rappers or artists to claim they're black as a way to be be accepted by the culture. We've seen this with the likes of Logic, who debated online for years if he's actually black and if he can say the N-word or not.
I should be ashamed to be black, and some black people look ashamed when I rap, like my great-granddaddy didn't take a whip to the back. In my bloodline and in my lineage was the slave and the master. I'm a biracial person who looks white in a black man's rap game.
And even recently, he's caused a lot of backlash when he's returned to doing performances, as backstage, he was recorded in a viral clip saying the N-word.
This debate of hip-hop history. Is Logic really a nigga? Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Likewise, Drake has been getting absolutely cooked left, right, and center by Kendrick Lamar during their heated battle that took the game by storm. And one of the main points Kendrick tried to get across during their beef was the fact that, well, Drake isn't really black.
I even hate when you say the word nigga, but that's just me, I guess. Some shit just cringeworthy, ain't even gotta be deep, I guess.
And it looked like Tyla was going to start being lumped into this category as fans began to criticize her for the same thing. One user wrote, "You are free to call her whatever you want, but she will not be colored here. I'm not saying this out of malice or spite. That is just a fact that you're gonna have to accept." Another followed this up with a tweet reading, "We are not gonna call her colored here, and if she personally demands it, her career will end before it begins." Mindful of the fact that it was a potential problem, she tried to tackle it head on in an interview with Cosmopolitan where she said, "I'm happy there's a conversation happening and that people are learning that Africa is more than just black and white. Obviously, it gets messy and no one likes that, and I'm just happy people know we exist and have our own culture. It's just that I grew up as a South African knowing myself as colored, and now that I'm exposed to more things, it has made me other things too." Over time, the heat from this had gradually died down until her team made a major mishap, because before long, they booked her in for a showdown with none other than Charlemagne the God. And if you guys know anything about this popular radio host, you'll know that he does not hold back.
School me on these debates that they be having about your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean? Oh, I like that. We keeping that in the interview too.
Oh, man.
I like when they talk from the back and say we can't. I like that. I like that. That's good. That's even better.
Next one, please.
That's even better.
You're stupid, yo.
Fans were quick to flame her in the comments after this interview, saying things like, "She's never coming back." Tyla said, "Y'all ain't about to trip me up." This interview was awkward as fuck. Now, this is where everything changed, because those who weren't looking at her a little sideways beforehand now had reasons to examine this interaction. Not only because she literally dodged the questions, but also because her team had actively intervened to try and stop anything that could potentially damage her image. Seemingly intent on protecting her brand at all costs, not everyone agreed with what Charlemagne did. And as Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97 explained, the Notorious Breakfast Club host had gone out of his way just to make her uncomfortable.
Everyone's making about one thing, but it's a multitude of topics that he brought up that were on that list. And if you see the video, he took pride in sticking it to the label and did that, not worrying about how it made Tyla feel, who was a young artist who's already apprehensive and uncomfortable, and made this experience miserable, because that's the kind of guy he is.
Although Peter felt like what he had done was uncalled for, not everyone felt the same. As when you're a public figure, you should expect to be called out on any relevant issue when it comes to you or your artistry. Nope, that's not how journalism works. You get to ask what kind of questions they want to be asked. It's up to the interviewee to return the question back. We call it a curveball. I can receive the violation part. However, the ethnicity part is what's going to get her dismissed by the black community. We're tired of people not wanting to be real about their background, yet use our culture to advance. I don't care how old she is, because she is being run by adults. Another major reason why this was a tactical issue from Tyla's team if they were trying to protect her is that they supposedly gave the Breakfast Club a list of questions to not ask during the interview. Never interested in softballs, Charlemagne believed that it was his duty to let the world know what was really going down, including how the labels had tried to silence him.
So everybody knows, labels always will come and say, "Hey, can you not ask this? Can you not ask that?" Sometimes, depending what it is, like if it's something like really personal, really serious, something I know is traumatizing, I'll be like, sure, I'll oblige. For this one, I said no.
Yeah.
And the reason I said no, they had 6 things they didn't want us to ask. You want to know what those 6 things were?
Yeah.
They didn't want us to ask about Kai Cenat, the whole we friends though thing.
Yeah.
Like, huh?
Okay.
They didn't want to ask. They didn't want us to ask about her not being on tour with Chris Brown anymore. They didn't want us to ask about the color thing. They didn't want us to ask about her injury that she sustained. What else was it? They didn't want to ask us about who she was dating, which I wouldn't do anyway.
Oh, but the Rihanna thing, compare.
Oh yeah, and comparison, and it wasn't even Rihanna, it just said comparisons to other pop artists. Huh? It is your job then, label, management, whoever, to either prepare the artist for the questions or pull the interview.
Exactly, yeah.
I got a job to do to the people. My job, my integrity with the people will always matter more than my integrity with a goddamn record label.
Yeah.
And you know how many interviews we've turned down when they be like, yo, you can't ask about this,
I'm not interested.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Hey, because maybe now's not the time for that artist. If that artist isn't ready to talk about these things,
yeah.
I don't want to have that conversation because it'll make us look crazy because certain things you gotta talk about.
Yeah.
From here, Tyla realized that there were serious issues that she had to address, issuing a statement that sought to explain what had really happened on her Instagram. Never denied my blackness. I don't know where that came from. I mixed with Black/Zulu, Irish, Mauritian/Indian, and colored. In South Africa, I would be classified as a colored woman, and in other places, I would be classified as a black woman. Race is classified differently in different parts of the world. I don't expect to be identified as colored outside of South Africa by anyone not comfortable doing so, because I understand the weight of that word outside of SA. But to close this conversation, I'm both colored in South Africa and a black woman. But unfortunately for Tyla, she just couldn't shake the perception that her team was doing everything they could to make her a star. And when people feel like they're being spoon-fed, they're always bound to reject it. In fact, many argued that it was mismanagement that was going to derail her entire career. At first, I didn't like her. I thought it was her, but she actually seems like a very sweet person. I realized it's her team who makes her seem unlikable. First the Grammy, then her team announcing a world tour when she only got one popular single, then her team canceling her tour, then the Chris Brown tour, then this situation with Charlemagne. I've seen many people comment the same about her on logs and social media. I work with Live Nation and I deal with a lot of publicists. I called one about this and she told me it was a masterclass on what not to do for an artist. She said it takes reliability away. Another problem for Tyla was that it wasn't even just Americans that were at her neck. Mac G, a popular podcaster from South Africa, also suggested that she was being covertly pushed down everyone's throats.
But shout out to Tyla's team, man. What they're doing with Tyla's amazing.
It's crazy, right?
That
Like
team
that's
is insane.
Oh, that is just
Like imagine they're working with someone who was really talented, like what they could do. You know what I mean?
No, Tyla can sing. Truth or dare?
I'm not like hating. I'm saying like imagine they worked with like a Msaki, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Besides people from her own homeland taking shots at her, others in the culture have suggested that her attempt to clarify that she was actually black, in a sense, was an attempt to retain the cultural benefits that come with that in the music industry. And when it comes to this viewpoint, Joe Budden led the charge.
I listened to the Tyla Breakfast Club interview where her continuous use of the word colored is a thing over here, even though she's not from over here.
Right.
So that's the whole thing. Charlemagne asked her a question, her publicist interrupted that, and then she later released a statement. I'm just listening like, what, another just girl that's not black that gets handpicked. See, only in the in the music business, all of that, I got an ounce of black in me, so I'm black.
Yeah, no.
Stop it. Black just gains you more access and credibility in certain cultural spaces over here. So that's what I mean by it's an entryway. It's why Logic keeps saying I'm black.
Right. Oh, you think he's using it as like a way to have access?
I don't think nothing.
You know.
You goddamn right.
Okay. So you're saying Tyla, same.
I'm not saying that I don't know enough about Tyla and her background or her experience, so I'm not going to say that about her. But I also think that her fate is predetermined unbeknownst to her.
By higher power?
I think that the people responsible for her have a plan, and that plan includes, hey, you're black in America. Not saying she's not black, but the promoting of black. Like, if you're black, then I need to hear more than I'm just black. Like, that's all they come over here and say, I'm black. It's like that.
What, like they use it like a mental health wellness type of thing?
Yeah, it's like, hey, over here I'm black. Hey, and it's like, okay, but can we know more about you?
After all that's said and done, Tyla is still largely on the right track. And to some of her supporters, all the backlash just means she's moving towards her goals. I've been with Tyla in the studio. From a producer to a vocalist, she is one of the most sonically charismatic artists I've ever seen write and compose melodies. She is a beast of a perfectionist, also which makes her a 5-star talent. But someone who is just a consumer and not a music maker holds a certain bias to what they like. And that shouldn't discredit Tyla's talent because you prefer someone else. But like I said, consumers are biased. Getting hated by American, Nigerians, and South Africans, you can't convince me Tyla is not going to be a legend. But in the aftermath of the Breakfast Club scenario, there's no guarantee that she can regain the hype that she first obtained after Water. Since then, she has released 3 tracks and all of them have reached over 100 million plays, with none of them making a real impact. Still pushing forward, Tyla isn't going anywhere soon. But the only question is whether anyone still wants to listen, or if the allegations that she's manufactured have done more damage than she can overcome.